Welcome everybody, it's Selim, and in this video we are going to be talking about the weapon crafting system within Infinite Warfare's multiplayer, and I'm going to be explaining to you guys the best I can because we have very limited information about it right now. So I'm going to be giving you guys all the information they gave us and kind of clearing up some confusion that people have had about them, and tell you guys exactly how it's actually going to kind of work that we know so far. But anyways, let's talk about this right away. So first thing I want to clear up is that you're going to actually have five different versions of the same gun, and as you guys can see on screen, I'll have the original version of the gun, so the EBR 800. This is going to have the one that you're going to get once you unlock it without using your weapon crafting system. And as you guys can see, and this is the one that people were confused with, is that in our next in the next image I'll be showing you guys on screen, we'll have the common version. So just to clear this up, because people were confused if the common version and the one that was coming with the game were the same one, and they are not. Just wanted to make that clear. I'm sure a lot of people already knew that that wasn't the case, but I just wanted to clear up for anybody who didn't. But as you guys can see, when you get the common version, you actually get a gun perk, and it's actually pretty interesting when we get into the epic versions of the gun and the legendary version of the gun. But as you guys can see, you get your gun perk and of course stockpile increased ammo. Then you would get the rare one, and the rare ones gets a gun perk and a kind of change to the gun. And as you guys can see, jackpot kills gain an additional 10% score, readiness reload faster when clip is emptied, and it stacks with dexterity. And of course I don't know what dexterity does. Apparently it helps you reload faster. I just found that out now. But anyways, then we get the legendary version. This legendary version seems really cool because, as of course you guys can see, the gun perk it actually comes with, it's actually called nuclear, and the nuclear is actually a tactical nuke. And if you guys remember how the tactical nuke used to work, you would just get the 25 kills with the same gun, or I'm not sure exactly, or maybe just 25 kills, and then you would actually get a tactical nuke that would absolutely end the game, which is really cool. But nowadays it seems a little overpowered because getting 25 kills with the same gun without dying isn't as difficult as it was as back then, because a lot of people can actually do it, and that'd be ending games too often. And I actually like how they did this because the tactical nuke is really cool to come back, but the thing is that you actually have to get the version of the gun to actually get it. Of course you guys can have a different opinion because that's just my personal opinion, because I know there are a lot of people who can actually do it. And of course stability, reduced recoil, and this actually stacks with foregrip, which is really cool. Of course I want to come back to, because there's a gun perk, and I'm not too sure what to call these. It's more of a stat changing thing like the stability. And finally, the epic version of this gun. You guys can see, if you guys have watched the overview of this, of course you guys all know this, but I just want to explain this to everybody else, and we'll get to stuff that most people don't know about in a second. And we have hunter killer, enemies at low health are highlighted, pretty cool. Sharpshooter, increased damage at range, stacks with particle amp, so that's pretty cool. I don't know what particle amp is, but whatever. Anyways, now I actually want to get into other weapons it actually showed but didn't talk about. So as you guys can see on screen right now, we actually have one of the LMGs, a Mauler, and of course it's called the Mammoth. I forgot to say about the other ones, but they do have separate names. They have the Mauler Mammoth and the other one, EBR Perk. I think there was one called, I think that was a legendary one. But as you guys can see, they have the epic being shown right here, and of course heavy hitter and double damage but slower fire rate. And this is what I find interesting, because this one's more of a stat changer, similar to the weapons, the different versions of gun you would get inside Advanced Warfare. And this system, I'm not too sure. A lot of people don't like it. A lot of people, I don't know if a lot of people like it, but I know a lot of people don't like it. But that's what I'm seeing, that there's going to be a stat changer. Then of course Sharpshooter, which is going to be of course we already know what that is, which looks more like an actual perk to it, or maybe they could just be both more stat changers. Of course we'll look at other ones when we get into the next one. Of course Titan, the Scout, and this one's called Scout. And of course this weapon has a customized hack sight, which is pretty cool. As you guys can see, the stats actually change from before, from +4 to the accuracy, and of course I think that's from the stability ability, I guess, or whatever these things, perks, whatever. And of course recoil reduced, stacks with foregrip, which is really cool. Of course we have the KBS longbow. But anyways, as you guys can see, awareness, which is really weird because the other ones don't really have something like this, and awareness and minimap stays active while scoping. Okay, this is really interesting how these are going to work. Of course stockpile, we've already seen that before, but anyways, you guys get the general idea of how these epic versions are going to work. But one thing you may not have noticed is that not only are the stats changing and all that good stuff, but one other thing you may not have noticed is that from what we've seen, we've only seen one way to actually get the tactical nuke ability, and I believe that's the only way you're going to be able to do that is if you're using the legendary version of the gun, which I think is so cool because it's not the epic version, because the epic version looks like they're generally better than the legendary version, but you're going to have to be sacrificing the extra abilities for if you want to go for the tactical nuke, and vice versa. If you want to have your better weapon, then you're going to have to give up the tactical nuke. And I like the choice they're giving you there. I just like it. I think it's really cool how they're doing that. Of course, this applies to secondary weapons as they explain inside their thing, and they'll have them on screen. And I really like how the system looks. And as you guys can see, especially this one, this changes a lot. The accuracy is by 4, that's not a lot, but the damage is actually increased by 50, but the fire rate is decreased by 50 also. So as you guys can see, there's a stat changing thing, and then there's the overcharge with a powerful single shot. I think that's actually what's changing the perks. I think the focus, actually some of these look like they're both changing them, and some seem just like and more of an attachment. I'd best explain them. I say that they're just like little perks and extra attachments that actually come with these other versions of the gun. Of course, some of them are really big changers, as you guys noticed in that one. As you guys can see on this one, it's not as big as of a changer to the stats. Now the last thing I want to talk about is actually how you get them, and a couple ideas. So what they said how you get them, you actually get them through playing the game, which is really cool because from what it sounds, they haven't introduced a way to actually buy up to these, but I think there's going to be one, unfortunately, but we know for a fact that we can actually get them through actually playing, which is much better than the stupid supply drop system inside Black Ops 3. And on top of that, it's even better because we're not, from what we've seen so far, at least it's all so far, that this is going to be their way of getting other guns in a sense. But the thing is, everyone's going to have the same guns. It's just people are going to have different versions of the gun. Unless they do Advanced Warfare did, they would have these through supply drops and have to get other weapons. That would be so bad. Oh my gosh, that would be horrible. But in Advanced Warfare, you couldn't actually craft up to them by earning in-game stuff. You have to actually go spend your supply drops, which it was dumb. But anyway, hopefully, I'm really hoping all the hate that was actually generated for this actually got rid of the supply drop system. They have to suck up to the fans to actually do this, which I hope is the case. I so hope that's the case. And I wouldn't mind if the supply drop system came back as a cosmetics thing. That'd be perfectly fine. I have nothing against that. But having weapons and game-changing things, like, of course you've heard so many times, but anyways, what am I saying? I hope that they don't have anything like that inside this game, I should say. One last thing I want to say, and I'm sure you guys are aware of this, but it seems like we're not going to be able to actually craft up to your epic or legendary version. You're going to have to go through the common, the rare, legendary, then epic. That's how it seems like we're going to do that. But besides that, I really can't point out anything else that we may or may not know about these. If I did miss anything about these, go ahead and tell me down in the comments if I did. But if you guys did enjoy this video and actually learned something new, go ahead and thumbs up. If you guys want to stay tuned for more Infinite Warfare multiplayer, especially when the beta comes out, which is going to be sometime in October, I think October 4th, which I will have so many videos about when it actually comes out, go ahead and subscribe. But I'm going to go, and I will catch you guys on my next video.